Screamboat's ending sets the stage for the murderous riff on Mickey Mouse to return, alongside a deadly companion. Taking a lot of creative liberties from the original Steamboat Willie cartoon that introduced the world to what would become Mickey Mouse, Screamboat uses the public domain nature of the original short as the inspiration for a slasher film focused on a murderous mouse on the Staten Island ferry. Screamboat's cast of characters includes a range of slasher archetypes, disposable victims, and parodies of other Disney characters and concepts. Screamboat is a self-aware and entertaining film that threads the needle between gory slasher and brutal parody. While the film ultimately does end on a fairly conclusive note for the survivors of Willie's rampage, the story leaves the door open for Willie to go on a new rampage down the line. Here is who survives the events of Screamboat and which other Steamboat Willie character gets a monstrous redesign in the movie's final moments. How Willie is still alive after Screamboat's ending. Two women looking scared next to killer Mickey Mouse in Screamboat custom image by Grant Hermans. Even though Willie is seemingly killed by Selena in the ending of Screamboat, the killer's unique origins and powers seem to keep him alive. As revealed earlier in the film, Willie was the result of experimentation to make him more animated. This seems to have permanently changed Willie, allowing him to do more than any other mouse should be capable of. These changes to Willie also seem to be the source of his abilities, as well as the ability to live for extended periods without sunlight or sustenance. Willie spent almost a century in isolation, with seemingly no physical problems. This functional immortality is likely how Willie survives the numerous injuries he suffers. He even survives a pair of scissors to the head, although this blow incapacitates the mouse and sends him overboard. Willie is last seen slowly recuperating from that blow, proving that he can be slowed down but failing to reveal what could put him down permanently. This suggests that actually killing Willie is a far more difficult task than anyone initially realized. With Willie poised to return, other unfortunate people who encounter the murderous mouse will have to find new solutions. Who is the other creature Willie meets in Screamboat's ending? Screamboat's ending introduces Willie's romantic partner, Minnie. Steamboat Willie from Screamboat is in front of a blood-red backdrop with a black drop shadow custom image by Danny Kessel-Odom. One of the big twists in the third act of Screamboat is the revelation of another mouse similar to Willie. Serving as a clear stand-in for Mickey Mouse's longtime love interest Minnie, this other mouse was missing during Willie's rampage. It's revealed late in the film that Minnie was the one lost at sea, leaving Willie desperate to find her and wallowing in grief. This is also why Willie becomes infatuated with Celine. It turns out that her dress and appearance remind Willie of Minnie, leading him to spare Celine more than once while Celine is eventually able to use this to her advantage against Willie. The final scene of the film confirms that Minnie is actually alive. Although she can only be seen from behind, Minnie appears to be a similarly haggard figure to Willie who finds the recovering Willie in the garbage. This suggests she has gone through a similar transformation, becoming a more vicious figure in the absence of her loved ones. Minnie doesn't get much of a role in Screamboat, but could take the spotlight in a prospective sequel. What happens to the three survivors of Willie's massacre now? Selena, Amber, and Mateo are the only confirmed survivors in Screamboat. Although there are dozens of people who board the ill-fated Staten Island ferry, only 3 characters actually escape the chaos of the film: Selena, the EMTA Amber, and the young boy Mateo. Mateo is reunited with his father after the events of the film, presumably taking the boy someplace safe. Selena initially intends to leave New York City after her experience on the ferry, but Amber convinces her to stay. Since the 3 weren't directly targeted by Willie but were caught in the crosshairs of his hunt for Minnie, there's a chance that the killer mouse won't come after them. Willie seems to be more driven by his desire to be reunited with Minnie than actively hunting anyone. Selene, Amber, and Matto may never see the villainous mouse again after the events of Screamboat. However, Minnie might have a vested interest in hunting down Selene, especially if she were to become jealous of how the human posed as her to escape Willie's wraith. With Willie and Minnie set to return down the line, they could threaten new characters or just as easily try to reunite with old friends like Selena or Amber. Screamboat largely ends on a conclusive note for the heroes, with the 3 remaining survivors effectively getting a happy ending after all of the trials and tribulations they faced across the course of the film. However, the final scene confirms that Willie survived his apparent death and has been reunited with Minnie. The biggest question this raises is what happened to Minnie. A sequel could delve into her fate after she fell off the boat and what horrible transformation she has made in the years since. Screamboat 2 could also further delve into the origins of Willie and the scientists who were trying to make him more animated. Similar to the way Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey's continuity used an evil scientist as a means of bringing in more Winnie the Pooh characters, an expansion on Willie's creators could establish murderous riffs on other Disney characters like Donald or Goofy. Screamboat benefits from having a fairly open-ended climax, meaning Willie and Minnie could return in any number of ways for future blood-soaked escapades. The real meaning of Screamboat: live together or die alone. A deranged black and white, realistic Mickey Mouse holds a harpoon out in front of him. Screamboat is a gory and often goofy take on the horror genre. While many of the kills are brutal in their own way, the characters that are dispatched typically portray some sort of comedic overconfidence or huge flaw that makes their deaths feel sillier than scary. This approach fits with Willie too, who comes across as a much more light-hearted and almost bashful character in between his vicious murders. At the very core of Willie's story is a reflection on grief and loss. After getting a family and subsequently losing it, Willie closes himself off and becomes a monster.